want to understand the Miguel situation? Then watch this. Spoilers for the Jujutsu Kaisen chapters 254 and 255. We're gonna get into some really touchy subjects, especially around race, conservatism in Japan, and Miguel's growth as a character. Sometimes Gege even just has characters say this country, blatantly calling out Japan for its faults. Here Mai does it while saying that Japan holds its people back. And then we have the Japanese person who's working with the US soldiers talking about how noblesse oblige just doesn't exist in Japan because it's all about self-sufficiency and not about the responsibility of people who have more power to look after the people that are weaker. I've made a lot of other videos talking about this conservatism in Japan, the sexism, everything, Higuruma's story, so check out those videos if you haven't seen them already. But let's talk about how Miguel ties into all of this. One of my biggest issues with JJK was found in this moment here, where Gojo compares Miguel to Bobby Olgun, who was this black comedian in Japan that was known for speaking in this kind of like heavy accent. So he's insulting how Miguel is speaking Japanese. Also, Miguel was drawn with white lips, which is way too reminiscent of blackface caricatures. Now we fast forward to the latest chapters and Miguel is critiquing Japan in some obvious ways. At this point, we don't have official translations, so I will be making a video later on about that when we do have them. But at this point, there are some translations going around where Gojo is being a bit insensitive on how he's talking about Miguel and his physical strength. Gojo doesn't blatantly say that black people are just inherently stronger, better at sports, etc. Miguel was in the right for calling something out, calling attention to something that is a little bit too in line with some false and racist beliefs that are very serious. And here's the next thing. Some people will ask me, why is it serious? Why are you saying that this is serious? This problem in the real world is tied to how we are treated as patients in the medical industry and how we're perceived as a threat. Undertreated for pain, and we're seen as being bigger, stronger, and scarier, even if we're the same size as a white or non-black counterpart. Even when it comes to black children, they are undertreated for pain because they're perceived as just being stronger. Miguel also points out the idea of black people being inherently better at sports and how that is false. And I love that they put this in here because it's true. And the idea that black people are just physically better at sports undermines our intellect and societal issues that lead black people to go into certain sports. Black people just don't tend to get the same respect as white and non-black athletes when it comes to the idea of our abilities outside of us just being physically born better, that we just are better at sports because we're black. It's really awful. So his character goes from being the butt of a pretty insensitive and racist joke by Gojo to someone who's calling Gojo out for some beliefs that align too closely to racist beliefs that are false and harmful. Some people want to say that this was unnecessary, and while I think it didn't necessarily need to be in here, it does tie into some major points with the series about critiquing Japanese society, and it addresses an issue that was in Volume 0. Does this show some growth on Gege's character? I think so. We still have to wait and see how Miguel's character fully turns out, but I am a bit hopeful. So those are my thoughts on this, but let me know your thoughts in the comments.